Brush the pubes.
Stockport cuts. Yes, guys, I'm Si. Welcome to Cardiff City World. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to your post-match reaction show. Cardiff City 1, Stockport County 1. And boy, oh boy, is there a shitload to talk about. But before we get to any of that, in case you haven't seen the statement, and obviously people were concerned about Yusuf Salech, he's all right. He's had scans. He's had like the all clear in terms of structural damage. Got to have a bit of rest. Obviously, he'll miss. I would imagine he will miss Tuesday because of concussion protocols and all that sort of stuff. But that's like the best possible news because it didn't look good, and the way he landed was fucking quite horrifying, to be honest. But look, we'll get into that, and I'm sure we'll talk about a few other bits and pieces and another quality refereeing performance. But I just wanted to address something very, very quickly. If you are the weapon who kind of like is texting or spreading rumors about Yusuf Salech's injury this evening before the club made their statement, you want to fucking really get a grip of your life. Like, just I don't know what you're doing. And like, find a different way to get attention, basically, because I think it's quite sad. But anyway, we move on. I'm joined by Robert Boyle. How are you, mate? Are you okay?
Hello. I wonder when our introduction was going to come. Thank you.
I just started going on a rant already.
I didn't know what you're on about with our other part, but to be honest, I'm not willing to give it airtime, so we'll leave that there. But how are you, mate? It's been a while. Looking forward to this.
Yeah, mate. Look, and like
there's terms, but there we are.
Yeah, look, right. I think we'll get into all of the bits and pieces, but ultimately, I think it's a really good point, and I will kind of tell you. I'll get into why in a minute, but you can't win every game. Stockport are a really good team, and if you take out some of the things which we are frustrated by, angry by, whatever, tactically, I thought Stockport were quite clever. They sat in, they started fast, they pressed at certain times. They counter-attack so quickly. If you lose the ball and you don't get back in quickly, they're on you. Like I've seen in the goal, you know, they went from winning the ball back to having a shot on the edge of our box, probably 5 seconds. And look, you know, you could say we should have got out to them and stopped the shot initially and stuff like that. I get all that. But like, ultimately, I think tactically, Stockport did a decent job up until the restart after Yusuf Salech's injury. I thought after that, I thought Cardiff were by far the better team. We just didn't quite have that sort of cutting edge. But I thought we were pretty good, like on the ball. I just thought we lacked a bit of tempo actually throughout the game. I thought it's weird though, because before they scored, that first sort of 5 minutes, we were popping the ball around, and I thought, right, we're going to be good today. We're up for this. And then they just sort of got that goal on the break, and it just knocked the stuffing out of them a bit. But I just think, look, a young team, you could see that some of the younger players were a bit shell-shocked from what had happened to Yusuf Salech. Like, I'm not going to name names, but like when they were warming up, you know, during his treatment, a couple of them looked really, really pale. And like, understandably, at the end of the day, it's your mate, innit? And it's your teammate, and you don't know what's happening. It looks very serious. He's landed horribly. It's difficult not to think about it. And with any situation like that, when you're in it, like those players are, it's difficult not to think the worst. You know, you'd think back of over the years of all the different players we've seen having long treatment like that for like 10 minutes plus. It's been very, very serious. And I think for those players then to be able to gather themselves, and from the restart, really do very, very well, play very well, get the goal back. I think they deserve a hell of a lot of credit because I think mentally that was a very, very difficult game. And I thought they did well to keep their composure because the refereeing was absolutely outrageous. Like I've seen some shit refs, mate, this year, like some really, really bad ones. But that was just, it got to the point where he was just doing stuff and you could not understand what he was seeing or doing. But yeah, I don't know. What do you reckon, mate? Like overall, about it, just general thing, like point.
Yeah, I mean, point from a result perspective, I don't think it's it could have been worse. Point is not a horrific result. Keeps the tally taking over. Obviously, second place still hot in our tail, so it is good. We need to keep that scoreboard ticking over. I think, like, it had the look of, I think you talk about the first 5 minutes or so, 5-10 minutes, it had the look of the Bradford game at the start. Started well, nice, lot of momentum, lots of good passing, things like that. And yeah, and then obviously they almost a bit of a sucker punch, really. I think they got the goal and sucked the life out of them then. And the problem is, I think, because of some of the decisions, and you can't just blame it on that so-called referee because they still got to play to the whistle and do their job as well. But I think that it just, even before the Sargent incident, it was, you see players starting to get irritated, decisions weren't going their way and things like that, and it almost got in their heads a little bit before, like I said, before that incident even took place. And obviously that just snowballed and snowballed. And let's be honest, I think it was almost a losing battle then because he laid down a marker quite early doors, that ref did, for me, of the standard he's going to put out. And, we talked about it before we went on air, right? He's lucky that, I know Sarge obviously took a knock and we're very thankful that he's okay. But he's lucky that nobody was seriously hurt today. Like, I know I expect we'll talk about it more in a bit, but he's a very lucky boy, that referee, that nobody was seriously left that pitch seriously hurt. But yeah, so take the supports though, mate. I think it's just said, you take all the points we can get. They are a good team, Stockport, mate. They lose out in the playoffs last year. They're a proper football league team. And do you know what it reminded me a bit of as well is early doors League One when we first come down. The physicality of the teams, and that's not really knowing how to handle it. That's not saying not to handle it, but do you know what I mean? We got a bit roughed up a little bit, and we had that a bit today. We didn't obviously get helped from the officiating, but that's what it seemed like. They a bit like their the Port Vale game, for example. It felt like that. Give me those sort of vibes,
Yeah, I said about the tempo. Like, I thought if we'd play every time we played with a bit of tempo, like just like the goal, you go bang, couple of one-touch passes, and we were in behind. And I thought we were really good. But here's a few things, right? And let's talk about like the refereeing overall because it was bad, right? And look, in terms of Stockport, I don't necessarily blame their fans for loving it and whatever because they want a team to be physical and put it up against the team who's top of the league. But it's the referee's responsibility to get control of the game. He's got a duty of care to the players to make sure no one gets hurt. And then the first one, which is over the top, he's got to make sure that he deals with it properly. And he missed a lot today. There was one on Callum Robinson, which was, he kind of got a ball, but he also went too high on Callum Robinson's shin. And if Callum Robinson's leg, if his leg was planted, mate, he would have broke his leg. And to me, he didn't even book it. And then literally 5 minutes later, he books Amari Kellyman for pulling a shirt. And it's like the first bit of thing that Kellyman's been involved in the game. And then you've got the elbow to Ryan Winnell. And it's like, So here's the thing, right? He's given a free kick for it, so he's seen it. He's booked him, so he's judged it to be aggressive. But you're not allowed to elbow people in the face, and he had a look as well, and it's naughty, mate. And I just think the referee just lost control, and it wasn't even just the physicality, the fouls and stuff like that. It was some of the decisions were just weird. Like there was one, Kellyman gets tackled. The guy makes a really good tackle on him, like a sliding tackle. It goes out for a throw, and he gives the throw into them, and you're just like, everyone in the ground can see that. There was one where we put a ball into the box in the first half. The defender heads it out for a corner, and the linesman gave a goal kick, and you're just bemused by it. Like, and it's frustrating. And I think when you've got a young midfield like we did, two of those midfielders today are under 24. Like they're young. I know Alex Robertson's got a bit of football under his belt, but they're still young men who are getting frustrated. And I think from a football point of view, I didn't think we probably weren't good enough in the final third. We did a lot of good stuff elsewhere. I think we probably didn't quite have a high enough, like a quick enough tempo. And when we did make it a bit quicker, I thought we were really, really good. I thought Osho was excellent again. Third game in a row. I thought he made some really important blocks. I do, however, think we missed Will Fisher's ability to switch the play with like a long diagonal ball, and or Dylan Lawler's ability to play through from defence. But Chambers brings it out in a different way. But that's not to say that Osho and Chambers did anything wrong, because I thought both of them were excellent. I just think that we missed those particular attributes from Fish and Lawler. But honestly, like,
I think just to add to that, sorry, talk over you, and a few people have mentioned now as well already. I think Turnbull was missed today.
Just his composure on the ball, mate, isn't it?
100% is, his experience, and that sort of game was crying out for like a Turnbull today to take control, look after the younger heads a little bit. I know Big Di Turnbull's not that old himself, in fairness, but he is one of the more senior players in the team, isn't he? So we did miss, I think, his seniority around the pitch and things like that. And that's not a shit on Windle, because I know Windle's been around a bit as well now, but Turnbull just offers had something a little bit different, and he seems a bit more composed. Turnbull, Windle's more of a
just covers ground and he does so well.
What's that?
And Wintle just covers space so well. Like,
I love him.
He's
on a hell of a season. He is. For me, he's up there with player of the season for me.
I think him and Bagan have been so consistently good, haven't they?
100%, mate.
I thought Joel Colwell was very good today. I thought he was really good. I thought Alex Robertson was really good after half time. I thought first half he was a little bit frenetic, like he was trying to do things almost before he was thinking about it before he'd got the ball under control, and then he was misplacing it or losing it. But second half, I thought he was really good. I thought I feel for Callum Robinson, because he's just barely played. So he's just not quite up to speed and hasn't quite got that chemistry with everyone, because he just doesn't play. Like, Salech stays on now, doesn't he? At the start of the season, we used to get like an hour or so out of Salech, and then Robinson would get half hour every week, but he doesn't get that now. And I think, he's just a bit, it's one of them, innit? And I wanted to mention as well, because I saw a load of Stockport fans, and a few of them were messaging me where I was on the podcast yesterday, just saying about it wasn't even a foul on Salech. I think the thing with the Salech thing is, like, that specific thing is, it probably wasn't a foul. They kind of both went up, and then it was the way he landed, and then the player lands on him. But also, for Cardiff fans and Salech and Brian Barry Murphy, it's a culmination of the whole season. Like, we've seen people putting him in a headlock, ripping his shirt, elbowing him, like throwing him around. And it's like, you just feel like it's a build up. And it felt like at some point he was going to get hurt, basically, because he was getting no protection from the referee. And I think that's what it is. But then, that aside, the referees just let like 2 or 3 naughty tackles go, and then just giving really silly bookings, like,
He was out of his depth, mate. Let's call it spade a spade. Like, he was out of his depth. And
but as someone just said, sorry, mate, I was going to say on the ref, like someone just in the comments said, this is what happens when you're losing 300 grand a week in the championship, and then you get relegated. You don't get good officials like after outside of the championship.
That shouldn't be the case. That should not be the case, though.
Just don't give a shit outside the championship. It's unfortunate. It's the truth. But
the refs in the championship wouldn't exactly put.
No, I know, but there's a big drop off, isn't there? Like,
honestly, isn't it? And it's just mad. But the thing is, I'd go as far as saying the refereeing in Prem is not even that great. Like, it's, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is anymore. You may or may not be able to answer this question, but in terms of the refereeing and the stuff, do we know if the club ever raised their concerns on the officiating? Is it an avenue they ever go down?
I believe they've brought it to the attention at some point in the season that because I know they brought it to the attention of the referees or the fourth officials, basically saying like he's not getting any protection, he's getting this, he's getting that. And let's not forget, in the first game against Stockport, one of their centre backs was giving Salech digs off the ball, like, and there was nothing done afterwards or anything. And I think they brought it to the attention of the referees or the EFL, and they were told that referees have been told that if they think it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, to leave it go, which in theory is fine, but we don't see that in action. What we see is when it's on the striker, you get nothing. But if the striker starts to win the physical sort of grappling match, they give a free kick against the striker. And I'd like, at the end of the day, right, I said this to my friend earlier, and I think it stands. All of these guys today, right, it's elite, it's top level sport. I know it's League One, but it's professional sport. They are all looking for any advantage that they can get. If the ball's on the line, they're going to say it's in. If it's a foul or it's not, it's like a 50-50, they're going to say it's a foul. If it's nearly over the line, they're going to say it's over the line. It's just the way they want any advantage they can have. And for me, the referee's job is to navigate that. And when you allow like physicality like that to go unpunished or unchecked, someone will end up getting hurt, mate. And it might not be this week. It might be next week, right? So say that boy, the guy who's had a look at Wintle and give him a dig with his elbow. Next week, he might do that again, but with a bit more force because he got away with it. And he thinks, I'll take a book in you and give this boy one. Or he'll go, or the one who went like over the top of Robinson. Next week, the guy's leg might be planted. And I'm all for fully blood tackles, mate. I really enjoy like a physical battle. I think it's good to see teams fully committed, and fair play to them for their goal. That comes from winning a 50-50 tackle with Ryan Wintle. The ball's there to be won. Both of them go in full-blooded. The Stockport player wins it. They make a quick pass. They go at the centre-backs. That's probably the one mistake the centre-backs made in the whole game for me, was that they backed off and they let him get it. Like one of them should have gone to him, and if he slips it in for a through ball, so be it. But we let him get too close. He gets his shot off. And I mean, in fairness to Trott, he made a really good save, but unfortunately it just falls to their informed striker. But going back to what I was saying about the ref is when you allow stuff like that to go unchecked and unpunished, is what happens the next week and the week after, because these players, they will keep going until they're told, no, that's too much, because it's professional sport. It's natural. And look, I don't necessarily blame the Stockport players. I blame the ref for not getting a hold of the game at certain points. There was plenty of opportunities where he could have had a word with the Stockport captain, had a word with the manager and said, look, some of these tackles are getting a bit naughty or whatever, leave the off the ball stuff, whatever you want to, however you want to frame it, and just got a hold of it a bit. Because you imagine the uproar, mate, if Callum Robinson's leg was planted and he ends up going off on a stretcher as well. And, thank God the use of Salech is all right. But they didn't know that during the game, which is, I think, is why the Cardiff bench, by the way, and the players and the fans were so angry with that Hills when he waved to the fans. Because I'm a big thing about, when fans give players shit, and he took a lot of shit in the game. I have got no problem with them then at the end of the game showing the score, whatever, normally. However, at that 90-minute mark, he doesn't know if Yusuf Salech, his career is over because he's broke his neck or something. So he should have a bit more control and class and go, do you know what? We got a point. We played the game. They're upset because the guy's been stretchered off, and have a bit of dignity or whatever you want to say, a bit of class. And I think they're probably quite lucky that it didn't kick off. I've heard that it carried on into the tunnel, but I haven't heard that anything particularly happened. But sorry, mate, I went off on one long ramble.
No, you're absolutely fine.
This is why I don't do the post-match shows. Just saying.
No, it's fine. No, you're right. You're absolutely right, mate. You bang on from start to bottom of it. Like, what? It's just a matter of time when something even worse is going to happen. And like Ollie Norwood should know better. That tackle on Robinson, it was a bit of a Northern Irish, North the Southern Irish tackling there with Robbo, but I don't know. I don't even know what to think anymore. I'm starting to doubt everything in terms of football, watching their officiating this season, and with regards to Stockport themselves, no, I don't blame them at all. Like at the end of the day, if the ref ain't going to look after it, a ref ain't going to ref them, then why would you stop doing what you're doing? Why would you? You just carry on doing because it's working. So I don't blame them one bit for doing what they did in a sense that, the ref didn't stop them. So why stop, basically? In terms of that lad, I must admit I missed that bit at the end, so I'm not too sure on that one. But if that is the case, then he's just a sausage then, isn't he? That's the most polite thing I can say, because I appreciate the time we're on.
Yeah, look, and we'll get to some of the comments now in a minute, but I thought second half we had full control of the game, and I think we just didn't have that cutting edge. I got a little bit frustrated afterwards because I was like, we put more crosses in the box in the second half when Salech isn't in there and Robinson's in there. And you're just thinking, why have we put these crosses in when Salech is on the pitch?
The smallest possible lineup we had out there.
Yeah, but I suppose we were just pushing for a goal, wasn't it? And in fairness, there was an opportunity in the first half, which Yusuf should have scored probably, a free header. Robinson comes close towards at the end in narrow angle, and the keeper saves it. I thought in the build-up we were good, and just the tempo wasn't great, and just didn't have that cutting edge. But I still I do think we need a couple, mate, just to give the squad a bit of a lift, if nothing else, because some of them are looking a bit leggy. You're getting the wear and tear of the season. You get injuries. You've got Will Fish, his knee's been playing up all season, so we've got to manage him. Dylan Lawler's got injury, so we're managing him. Callum Chambers haven't trained all week. Ryan Wintle haven't trained all week. It's like, if you can just drop a couple of players in there of the required quality, it gives everybody a lift. But I also stand by my point from a couple of weeks ago that, I don't think we need loads.
I think 2 or 3 players, mate. I think I've mentioned this a few times over the last few months, but main priority for me is a left back, midfielder, and another striker. That's what I would go for, and at least 2 out of 3 of those having some form of experience as well, not just academy play, like loan players from Championship or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Somebody with some experience at this level. That I know is easier said than done, but at least 1 or 2 of those players to have been there, done it in League One at a good level.
Well, just Yeah, just on that, like Sue says here about, she says, Barry Bannon, you mentioned him a lot last season. With him going, would you like to see him bring him in with some experience? So I could tell you that what can I tell you? I can tell you we asked the question. I could tell you he's on about 35 to 40 grand a week. I think we were trying to get him in on like a short-term sort of loan by the sounds of it, or short-term deal by the sound of it. I don't think it's going anywhere. I think he's pretty sure he's going to Millwall, from what I heard. Or there's a couple of clubs in for him. He's just done too much wages for Cardiff anyway. And I'm not even...
He's like 30, 40 grand. He's like, was he 35, 36?
Yeah, he is a baller, mate. I got to say.
Well,
and he'd do a good job for us. But, mate, the thing is, we've got our wage bill down so much. I think there's only 2 players who are on about that much now, and you don't want to bring anyone for that money now. Like, you just don't.
No.
I do hope we get the Salford winger in if we're able to do a deal for that. Like, I think he's a great age. He's super skillful. He's very, very direct. He can also play through the middle, which is a handy little bonus. I wanted to talk about this one a little bit. So Dan says, didn't agree with people slating Tanner, by the way. He was one of a few who were attempting to beat their man. He isn't always going to do it, but one thing he is he's a grafter, and he keeps going and going. And he got his assist. Now, this is be a bit of an ongoing theme, not just with Tanner, like with Ashford as well. Like, people are very quick to like turn during the games, and I get it, like it's emotion and stuff like that. But like my son pointed out to me today, I think 3 times in the first half, Tanner had it, and he tried to either play a little ball inside or knock it past his fullback, and the fullback just got a foot on it and blocked it. So it looks like he's given the ball away. Well, he did give the ball. He did give the ball away, but like it's millimeters from coming off. And on another day, he's got a little bit more space, and it does come off, and he gets in behind, or he beats his man, or whatever. And I just thought the thing I like about Tanner this year, as opposed to last year, is he's worked so hard, and he's a bit of a maverick, like I said this all week. But like he'll just do something out of the blue or something different. And I don't think there's any shock or surprise that he's got 3 assists in a couple of weeks since being back. And the goal came today where we moved the ball quickly, which is where we looked so much better. We got a quick 1-2 and in behind the fullback. That fullback did a really good job on him, as you got to give credit. Like, the reason he kept losing the ball is because the fullback was doing, or the wing back was doing a good job on him, and wasn't giving him too much space, wasn't letting him run at him. He was close to him and he was closing him down. And look, there was a few players who were off. Alex Robertson wasn't at his best today. I thought he got better in the second half and started to get on the ball and spread it about a bit, but he wasn't anywhere near the level that he has been. Kean looked a bit rusty today. But they still graft and they still do the job that they get in the shape, and they make sure that they're not, just because I'm having a bad day doesn't mean I'm going to leave big gaps for the opposition to play through. And defensively, mate, right? I was trying to think, and I haven't rewatched the game. And normally when I talk about it on a Sunday, I've rewatched it, but I don't remember Stockport creating a chance after the goal. Like, Trott didn't make a save. We had a couple which we blocked, but I don't remember like a clear cut chance on goal.
No, it was the one where in the second half, and as it happens, the striker took out Trott. I think that's as close as they got. I can't remember. Was it a cross and then
it was like a second ball, wasn't
it? Yeah, Ocho blocked it, and that striker was already on the yellow at the time, clattered into Trott. Wasn't a second yellow, but that's by the by. But yeah, other than that, I don't think they did offer too much in the second half apart from that. But yeah, it's plus it's like you see him in the past, like if players on an off day, it can affect.
It all falls apart, doesn't it?
100%, it goes tits up like, and but yeah, you're right. Like the fact that 1 or 2 went completely at it today, which is fine. Everyone's entitled to an off day in all walks of life. but they didn't let it affect everybody else around them. They still grinded and
did the job, mate, didn't they? Did the defensive job, yeah.
100%, mate, 100%. So and you can't fault them for that. You can't fault them at all for it.
So
I don't know with Tanner. Sorry,
yeah, go on.
Jumping over you, Tanner. No, I don't like the criticism, mate. What I would say is though, I don't think it'll happen in the near future. But I wouldn't mind seeing him have a goal as a 10.
I see. I like him on. I would like to see him on the left. I think him on the left.
He's done that a few times recently, anyway.
Because it's because of the way he crosses it. He whips it in, whereas a lot of the others either look for a pass or they sort of float it, whereas he will just whip it. And I think if you can get that on the left-hand side, I think it could be quite beneficial. But Reece said that about him being a 10. I don't see it, but it doesn't. I'm not saying he wouldn't or he couldn't. But Kellyman's back now. That's a big plus because I thought he was really good, especially in the home games when he played in the 10. And with Ruben being back on grass as well, that's going to be a big lift for the squad. So, yeah, it's just getting them patched up, isn't it? Because we've got a few injuries now. I would like to see us bring some players in, though. Sorry. Sam said about, Capacchio. He says, any idea why Capacchio's game time is limited at home, especially? He's electric down the right, gives us some pace that we missed today. So, and someone asked about Dylan as well. Honestly, I think in Capacchio's case, he had a bit of a knock anyway, but I also think it's down to Perry Ng's form. Perry Ng has just been very, very good. So he's had to bide his time a little bit. I do agree with you. I think particularly at home, Capacchio can give us something a bit different, but Perry Ng's just been very, very good. But we'll need them all coming into these games now, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Capacchio get a start on Tuesday. With the game so close together. Dylan's been carrying a knock. It's a muscle thing, so sometimes it's worse than other times. And I also think in that case, it is the form of the others as well. You look at Will Fish, was probably one of our best out-and-out defenders at the start of the season. Chambers and Osho rightly probably kept their place today. Chambers in particular has been excellent for weeks. And I think the good thing about that from a squad point of view is you got to wait your opportunity, like Joel Colwell did today. Joel has barely played for the last couple of weeks, apart from right back last week. He's had to wait and wait and wait. He didn't even get on at all the week before, did he? He's had to wait to get back in the team. And then when he's come back in today, I thought he was really, really good. And ultimately, that's what they've got to do. When Capacchio gets his opportunity, he's got to make himself undroppable. And then Perry Ng's got to get back in. And, same with Lawler, same with Fish.
What's your thoughts on Capacchio playing third forward as a right mid?
I don't hate it, especially against teams where if they're strong down one, like the right hand side, I wouldn't be against him playing in front of Perry Ng on the right. I just think in the wide areas, I think we're relatively good. I think we've got some good options and we've got a range of options. But I do think if you come up against a team which has got a really good left back and a really good left winger and a really good 10, then having Ng and Capacchio on that side is not the worst idea at all. But, I'd rather us play people round pegs, round holes, because I think that's what's worked this season compared to previous. Look, here's a question for you, mate. I asked someone this the other day, one of the boys. I can't think it might be Matt. Do you think we miss Ruben? So let me put it another way. Do you think that today was the type of game which he would have flourished in, especially in the second half?
Oh, that's a good question. That is
full
a good
question.
I think that he would have had an impact today. His strength, his power would have brought something
different to the team. So I do think that he would have played a big impact. I mean, going back to the original point, I do think Cardiff do miss him. Cardiff players have stepped up. Because I think a lot of the fan base, myself included, was quite concerned how he would cope because he was such an integral part of the team leading up to his injury. Even when he had quiet spells, he was still one of the best players in the team. But I think that Cardiff players have stepped up and shown that we can manage, we can cope, and we can survive without Ruben in the team. As today goes, the chances are the guy would have been twatted in the head about 5 times anyway. So whether he would have made an impact remains to be seen. But I think he would have offered me a little bit different today. I think with his power and strength to get at them. But I think with the way everything was today, it's all if buts and maybes. The chances are, like I said, and I'd say I'm a bit tongue in cheek, but the chances are he would have been clobbered and taken. His abilities would have been taken away from the game in fairness anyway. So, but yeah, as a few people mentioned, his set pieces and things like that, and I think he just lifts people when he's on the pitch, doesn't he, as well? So that's my diplomatic answer to you. What's your answer to that?
I think he gives something different than no one else gives. I think he gives a lot of the younger lads a bit of a lift. I also think he links really well with Salech and Tanner. And that chemistry, that's the sort of thing you can't replace, like player for player, because it takes time to build that. But I also think Amari Kellyman's been really good since he moved into the 10.
100%.
So I was glad to see him back. I
would
like to see, if we, like, for instance, like on Tuesday, if we give Alex Robertson a rest on Tuesday, I'd really like to see Joel go back into the 8. I think he's a little bit better, deeper. I know he scored a goal today, and I know he played really well, and his ball carrying is really beneficial. But a lot of the ball carrying he did was from quite deep to take the pressure off. And I think having him as a number 8 does give us a bit of a different dimension. But it's been difficult to do that because Robertson's been so good. But maybe with the games so close together, you could give Robertson a bit of a rest on Tuesday and give Joel a go up in the 8. I do think for me, we obviously need a left back. We've talked about that to death, but I think we need a number 6 as well, because I didn't think Wintle looked physically comfortable today. Like, I thought he was excellent and he did all, he didn't do anything wrong, but he just physically looked like he was in a bit of pain. And obviously he hasn't trained all week.
CO return?
So, no, I don't. Well, he probably do quite well, mate, in League One. Do you know what I mean?
We've spoken about it in our chat, and I think it's quite well known how much I love CO and Dimmy for that matter. But I'd love to see CO back here personally. But I know it's not even rumours. It's just
no. I would not, mate. No,
wanted.
He was a blood signing, wasn't he?
Yeah, it's one of those, mate. But I think he'd destroy the league. Like, imagine having him sit in front of the defenders now, having him in this league, mate. He'd tear it up. I think personally.
Yeah, there's a.
Was it? Is it? Not to go back to memory lane again, but what's the likelihood of maybe no Dowder coming back for that left back cover, or is that dead in the water now as well?
I wouldn't have thought so, mate. I wouldn't have thought so. I think honestly, I believe. I don't know this for a fact, obviously, but I believe from an age point of view, he's just not a sort of player that we're looking to bring in for this manager. I think, we might bring in like an experienced player on loan or whatever, but generally speaking, we're looking at players with an eye on next year and a certain profile and age. Where's that message gone? So Dan put a thing up about, I can't find the message now, but it was about their wing back to Craze Cogley. You are right, mate. I did do a video. He was in I think I did 5 signings that we should have looked at when we got relegated. Yeah, he's a good player, mate. He's quality, and I thought he was really good up against Hannah. I think he was on that side, but Stockport are a good side. They got 3, physical centre backs who know their jobs. They got 2 good wing backs who get up and down, and they got a goal scorer, and then they got an experienced head in Ollie Norwood in the middle who dictates the game. So, as much as we've been on a streak and winning all the home games and you've got no divine right to win. And I think, with all things considered, when you go 1-0 down, your star striker goes down with a serious injury, which has 10 minutes injury time, which means that, or 14 minutes when he was down. So, that disrupts everything. And the fact that we got some young players in there probably never had to deal with a situation like that. And I think, ultimately a point was probably a good result. Not a good result, but a point was all right. And the other thing as well is on Tuesday, we've got Barnsley at home and Lincoln play Bradford. If Lincoln beat Bradford and we beat Barnsley, there's 13 points between us and third, I think, which is massive, massive cushion between us and Bradford then. And that's all you've got to do. I know, obviously, we all want to win the league, right? I want to win the league. I've said that openly because I want my son to experience us lifting a trophy. I don't care that it's only League One, mate. I want a trophy. I want to win the league because I want to experience that with my boy. But ultimately, it doesn't really matter, does it? As long as you get in the top 2, you get promoted. That's all that really matters. So if you can put a nice 13-point gap on Tuesday between us and third, that is really positive.
That's cushy. And I think that will go a long way then as well. With the attraction of getting players in before the end of the season as well. Not saying that you're signing players thinking, job's done, we're going to have a promotion on our CV or whatever. But you know that they're signing for a club where, it'd probably be a bit of a given anyway, knowing what Cardiff, people know Cardiff, etc. anyway, but players signing for Cardiff thinking that, okay, we can go for the title, not just to go up. But do you know what I mean? It's a bit of an incentive on their CV and their football background, etc., to be joining someone who's going to be a part of, hopefully winning a League One title, at least going up and at least getting the title as well. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting few days, mate. I think because, 24th of January already. We got a week until the window closes. Yeah.
Ian, yeah, they will Tuesday. I just had a bit of a busy week last week and there wasn't much going on, but I've got a few little bits. So I'll Tuesday morning, rumour mill. That'll be back, and it's going to be the end of the month as well. So I might do another one then after that. But what's your thoughts on Callum Robinson? Struggled a little bit to get into the game once he come on. Very difficult circumstances, but I've seen a lot of people after the game saying, even if Salech is not out for long, we need to get a striker in because when Salech is not there, we struggle. And that's the other thing, with Ruben. Without Ruben, once Salech goes off, you've got no height in there at all, apart from Kellyman, who's quite lightweight in terms of his stature. But do you think, I feel a bit sorry for Robinson in one way, but you've also, what do you think of people sort of saying, get a striker in on loan or get a striker in?
For me, I don't think he's the. Just to answer, John, yeah, you are right, mate. It's Monday, the 2nd of Feb, 7 o'clock. That's when it closes, actually. I do apologise. Transfer window, mate. I just don't think he's a solo striker, mate. He's. I like Robinson a lot. He's got a lot of experience, got a lot of ability, but he's not. I don't think he's. He either needs to play as a 10 or he needs to play as a second striker. I just don't think he's a sort of player. I don't think he's ever been really throughout his career. Not a sort of striker who can lead the line by himself. He's not that sort of striker for me. I do think we could do with backup potentially. As you said, make a bit of extra physicality, etc. But yeah, I think that talking about ex strikers and big lumps and that. Do you see Kanga scored a hat trick the other day as well?
No way.
Yeah, legit in the Belgium league.
What was that in the Cardiff and District League? Was it?
No, it was for was he Standard Liège or something like that? Some Belgian Premiership team. But anyway, beside the point. Yeah, I like him, mate. I just think he's not a solo striker, so he needs to have somebody like up there with him. Like he'd be okay with like a Ruben or a Kellyman around him because they can play off each other a little bit, but he'd get lost. For example, if you had Robertson there, I don't think that would work. He needs to have like a bit of a bigger guy around him, I think personally.
Well, earlier in the season when Robinson played, we obviously had Ruben running beyond him or playing off him, didn't we? And we haven't really got that now. Whether Kellyman could do the same, I'm sure he could. It's just, yeah, I don't know. I really like Robinson. I think this year, I've been impressed by his attitude. And he can't. The other thing with Robinson is he cannot play 2 games a week because of his. He's got a foot thing, and I forgot. Thing.
Oh, so, mate, I definitely like. For me, he always has to be in and around the squad, like because he's got a lot of talent. Like there's no doubt about it. But I would look at another striker possibly.
Don't love me for fun, girl.
No, I just seen something.
Jonathan says, honest opinion. Who do you think would do a better job up top in this league, Callum Robinson or Callum Patterson? Callum Robinson, mate. Like, I get why people are frustrated with him, but at the start of the season, Callum Robinson up front on his own was fine when we had the right players around him and we had certain games. Like when he hasn't played. Like, I bet in probably the last 10 games, he's barely got 90 minutes in total, I would have thought. Like, he's barely played. And I just think you've got to, he needs to get a bit of minutes in his legs and get up to speed. And it's also hard coming off the bench, and especially in a game like today where the ball's popping around really quick and you've got to get up to speed. You're not expecting to come on in the first half as well. And it's a difficult one. I do think, I think on Tuesday he'll probably start. And I think, if you get the right people around him, I would love to. Last week against Bradford, in the second half, we went 3 at the back and we played Isaac and Callum Robinson up front together, with Robinson dropping deep and Isaac trying to get him behind. I really, really like that system. Now, I don't think the manager would go to that sort of 3-5-2 as a starting point. I think he likes the way we set up and build up. But I really did like it. I thought it got the best out of Callum Robinson and gets the best out of Isaac trying to get him in behind. But, maybe if it depends. I don't think it doesn't sound like Yusuf's going to be out for long. But maybe that's something they got to look at. Like maybe a change of system helps us where we're getting a bit leggy and stuff like that. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not saying it'll happen. I'm just... by the way, there was no slight on Callum Patterson. I really like Callum Patterson. I wish he'd stayed. But I just think if you're realistic, like Callum Robinson's a proper striker. He's just out of... No, I wouldn't even say he's out of form. He's just out of touch because he hasn't really played. No comment, Jamie. Sam Gallagher, yeah, I do look quite like him. There's a few players who I think I quite like, but it's not, unfortunately, it's not me who's going to make the decision. I just hope we get some bodies in because we are looking a bit thin all of a sudden the last couple of weeks.
That's a good shout, Jeff.
Go on, Callum Patterson.
That's a good shout by Jeff. Luke Pierce, back, chance of him being on the bench on Tuesday.
trying to think who was not on the bench today from the first team. Yeah, it may be good because you like to have a striker on the bench, wouldn't you? We need to go and get three points on Tuesday. And I think, yeah, look, it's going to be really fascinating. Come probably, I reckon the next 2 or 3 games will be interesting because Kellyman's only just coming back from his knock. You've obviously got a few of them are carrying bumps and bruises, and Turnbull's been ill. So it'll be interesting how he rotates it and navigates it. You know,
has Reindorf gone back up on loan yet?
Yeah.
He has, have he?
No, I don't know if he has actually. I'm
just wondering whether he has. I doubt he will play a part in it.
He couldn't get a game for Newport, so I doubt he's getting a game for us, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah, like a false 9 is an option, I think. And I wouldn't be shocked like with that. But you got to have, for that to work, you really have to have runners. And outside of Isaac, I suppose you could do Isaac and Tanner with a false 9, but it's got to be the right person against the right people. And I like Kellyman's good with the ball at his feet, but I don't know how would he deal with a centre back smashing him up in the air when it's tight. And I don't know, maybe he might thrive in it. Like he is good footballer, he's a great footballer, but I like a false 9. But if you were giving me the option on Tuesday of playing a false 9 or 3-5-2, I would play 3-5-2 and I would put Ronan Kapaki out at right wing back. I'd put Ollie Tanner at left wing back. I'd have Bagan and Fish or whoever, like 2 of the other centre backs, Osho, Chambers. And then in the midfield, I would have Joel and Wintle. Kellyman behind Isaac and Callum Robinson. I think that's
don't mind that.
Good balance to it. You give Kellyman
a lot of energy there, isn't it? There's a lot of energy there.
Yeah.
And I dare say, don't go like if need be, Perry could be one of the 3 in defence.
Yeah, 100%, mate.
If they're going to rest, like.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. It is a way to give Joel Bagan a rest without having to play some random player at left back.
It doesn't work for me, and I'll categorically say this again. Perry or Kapaki left back does not work.
No, and it cuts off
Bagan. Yeah, if you're going to rest Bagan, if you're not going to trust an academy player, go 3-5-2. Yeah, got to. Must be. It doesn't work for me. I'm sorry.
I also
no.
And I think Tanner and Kapaki out as wing backs. I think that gets a lot out of them too. You got Isaac up front with Callum Robinson. They, I think, can work quite well because, it's going to be fascinating, mate, because I think you've got so many players now with knocks. Like Perry NG had a knock coming into this game. I know he played, but it catches up with you at this time of the season after the Christmas period when you've had all of those, all those games close together. The players start to pick up little niggles, little injuries, bumps and bruises. It's difficult, mate. Very, very difficult. So we shall see. We shall see. Who was your man of the match today for Cardiff?
Oh.
Quite a tough one, isn't it? Like,
it is tough. I think if I was pushed on it, for the single one person out, I'd probably go Osho.
Yeah, I think Osho, Bagan, and Joel Colwell were probably the 3 I thought stood out. But I thought it was a weird game because there was a few of the forward players who I didn't think had their best game. But I also think, like we said earlier, the way they dug in and stuck to their defensive jobs meant that Stockport created absolutely naff all. And I think that's a testament to every single player that even if individually they weren't playing at their best, they didn't just capitulate. So, yeah, it would be interesting, but we shall see how they navigate. Yeah, Wintle I thought was excellent again. I don't know if he was man of the match, but he was good. Looking forward to digging in tomorrow. So tomorrow morning, I'm going to rewatch the game, and then we'll have 5 things out at lunchtime. Willock, man of the match. He played 20 minutes. Come on, Jeff. You got to be on the wind up there. Yeah, but Mark says Stockport thought they'd won the World Cup at the end. They came to get a point, and they got a point, mate. And I get it. Like I said earlier, I think my problem wasn't with the I don't generally have a problem with players giving it back to fans when they've been booed and all that sort of stuff. However, I think he's got to just use his head down hills and not give the wave to the Cardiff fans after, because he doesn't know what the situation is with Salech at that point. So it's like, have a bit of class in it. But there we go. Not everyone is as classy as us, mate, you know?
Nah, I'm classy as shit, I am, mate.
Yeah, and I definitely didn't swear at the football today either.
What's that?
I definitely didn't swear at the football today.
Nah, swearing's for naughty people and hooligans, like.
I tell you what, mate, right? I really like Chaloner, the Stockport man. I really rate him. He's fucking angry. He's an angry boy all the time. Like, me and my boy were just like sat right behind him, and we're just like laughing. He just, every time they didn't do it perfectly, he was fuming. He's like,
I read something on the build-up to him.
Shit.
I read something on the build-up to the game that when Leggy had the longest, like Leggy was known for having the longest throw, but apparently that Chaloner took the record off him as having the longest throw in the Football League, apparently.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how true that is, but when I was having a look through stuff this morning, I came across that, which I thought was quite an interesting one.
Mm-hmm. He's a good manager, mate. He is. I do rate him a lot, and I think
when Cardiff linked with him.
Yeah, he was in the mix. Not really, but he was, in the conversation. Do you know what? It was the more I think about this game, they didn't create anything, but they are very well drilled, and they know their system, they know their jobs. And I said in the build-up videos, which I did, when they counter-attack, they do it so quickly. And, in that, for their goal, they win the ball off Wintle, and it's straight in, and they're there, and they're on you. And it's difficult to deal with sometimes when they're on you quickly like that. But I do think in terms of the goal, I'd have to rewatch it. I haven't seen the highlights back, and I haven't rewatched anything yet, so I do need to have a look at it tomorrow morning. But
relive it all over again.
I felt like at the time, the Chambers and Osho should have come out. One of them should have come out to the boy who shoots. It just we backed off, and we backed off. That's what it felt like in the moment. But like I said, I'd have to watch it back. Yeah, Joel Colwell is man of the match, and not I wouldn't argue with that. I think you could make an argument.
Is you on about Joe Bagan?
It could be either one. Actually, I think you could make an argument for both. I think Robinson, and I agree with with Bluebird FC there. 11 says, I find Robinson to be a bit slow up front on his own. He needs someone next to him with pace like Isaac to help him. Yeah, I think he needs. You could almost. We were talking about the false
IQ, mate.
I think his
to bring other people in,
Yeah, I think his build-up play has really improved, haven't it, this year? You look at how he links up everything and drops in, but today, because he was up front on his own, he didn't. When he dropped in, you didn't have anyone running beyond because Alex Robertson was being disciplined and staying in. Mate, the referee was absolutely shocking. I can't get into that because I've got to finish now. I can't get into him again because Jesus.
The pressure just started to drop.
Yeah, so just relaxed again now.
You're welcome.
But yeah, I think you could make an argument for Joe Colwell, Joe Bagan, Osho, and maybe Wintle as well. But although Wintle, like someone pointed out, was probably him who lost the ball for the goal. But I don't hold that as his mistake really, because there's plenty of opportunity after that to stop it. But look, overall, all circumstances considered, I think it's a good point and I thought the whole team stayed disciplined, didn't lose their rag, didn't get anyone silly sent off, didn't forget their defensive duties. Trot had absolutely naff all to do. So we get another point towards the goal of coming up, innit? At the end of the day, Stockport will be happy. They got a point, and they were, they didn't lose, which is what they came to do. Created absolutely fuck all. So there we go. But there we go. 5 things tomorrow. Breakdown tomorrow night. I'm working on trying to get a guest on tomorrow night, because obviously I've done the live show tonight. But if not, doesn't matter, because I got a few things to talk about anyway. So plenty to discuss. And then Monday night, obviously, we've got a Cardiff City phone in. Player ratings Monday morning. So plenty of stuff coming. Hopefully we'll get a date for some of these inside the EFL shows as well. And then we'll be rocking 2026. Anyway, let me know in the comments what your 11 and system would be on Tuesday, in terms of, would you change the system? Would you go 3 at the back? Would you play a false 9? Would you give Robinson a start? Would you switch up the midfield a little bit, give Alex Robertson a break? Let me know in the comments, boyos and girls. And I got to go now. I got to go take my son somewhere. So, I'll get... sorry, no one knows what I'm talking about. Ryan says, any chance we get a retired ref on and see their thoughts on how refs feels these days? Yeah, I'll get Jeff Winter on, mate. Leave it with me.
Jeff Winter. He was good before when you had him on, mate. I think he'd be a good one.
Yeah, I could either get Jeff on or Keith Hackett is another one that I got a contact for. Yusuf Salech posting on social medias. It's what we like to see, innit? Good old Yusuf. Bolton in 3rd as well now, but I don't care. Just keep opening that gap between us and 3rd, mate, innit? Right. Nice one to everyone who's commented. I tried to get through as many as I could. I haven't stopped talking, so I apologise to Rob.
You haven't tried that hard, have you?
No.
You haven't.
Mate.
For the fans, by fans, my ass, chat shit.
I can't stop talking, mate. I got a verbal diarrhea.
I don't think there's no point me being here tonight, to be honest.
No, he was.
I'm only pulling your pisser, mate. Not a problem at all.
Keith Cooper, maybe I could probably get him on. I think.
Is that
Jeff
Winter?
Yeah. Jeff Winter was really good, wasn't he? Before, I like him. So I think I'll try and get Jeff on.
Go back and watch that one. Can I go back and watch it when you had him on before?
Yeah. I got him. I think. Did we have him on Cardiff City World or Ace Podcast Nation? I don't know. He's had him on.
That'd be pod. I would be.
I've had him on a couple of times. He's good. He's really good, and he's realistic as well. Like, he doesn't give you like bullshit answers. No. He's like a human being. Like, we'll have a show sponsored by Carlin soon. Don't you worry. One day, mate. So yeah, thank you, and also a special thank you to everyone who come and said hello to me today. It's always like mad, but I enjoy it, and thank you. I appreciate it massively. Appreciate the kind words. So I see you on Tuesday, back today.
Ciao,
Barnsley. Got any guests on this week?
I think we do actually.
Oh, do you? Who's on this week? Come on, spoiler party.
I don't know actually.
All right.
TBC. I think we do actually have a guest this week, so we'll let you know, guys.
Excellent. Got a member show Monday. Rob and Reese will have a guest, and got some other bits and pieces coming as well. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. and we'll see you in a bit. Nice one. Cheers, Drive.
Rascal Beats.
For your Caesar, Cardiff City, ride with me for your Caesar.